Hey, Nate. How's life? I don't know. It's alright. I've been dealing with some things like every human being and really didn't sleep much last night. I'm sorry. That's fine. I just think I need a little me time. I just think I need a little free time. Little break from the shows and the bus rides. Yeah. Last year I had a breakdown. Thoughts telling me I'm lost, getting too loud. Had to see a therapist and I found out something funny's going on up in my house. Yeah, started thinking maybe I should move out. You know, pack my car, take a new route. Clean up my yard, get the noose out. Hang up my heart, let it air out. I've been searching. What does that mean, Nate? I've been learning. Grabbing my keepsakes, leaving my burdens. Well, I brought a few with me. I'm not perfect. Looking at the view like this concerns me. Picking up the cues right, I'm quite nervous. Hate it when I lose sight, life gets blurry and things might hurt me. It's probably gonna be a long journey, but hey, it's worth it though. Cold world out there, kids, grab your coat. It's been a minute, I know, now I'm back to Rome. Looking for the antidote to crack the code. Pretty vivid, I admit it, I'm in classic mode. Don't need pity given to me, but I can't condone. Talking down to me, I'ma have to crack your nose for cracking jokes. I'm looking for the map, the hope, you see that? Been making a whole lot of changes. Wrote a song about that, you should play it. I get scared when I walk on these stages. I look at the crowd and see so many faces. Yeah, that's when I start to get anxious. That's when my thoughts can be dangerous. That's when I put on my makeup and drown in self-hatred. Forget what I'm saying and where the beat go? Oh, ain't that something? Drums came in, you ain't see that coming. Hands on my head, can't tell me nothing. Got a taste of the fame, it upon my stomach. Throw it back up like I don't want it. Wipe my face, clean up my vomit. OCD trying to push my buttons. I said don't touch it. Now y'all done it. I can be critical, never typical. Intricate with every syllable, I'm a criminal. Intimate but never political, pretty visual. Even if you hate it, I make you feel like you're in it though. You call me what you want, but never call me forgettable. Leave you deep in thought, I can never swim in the kiddie pool. Waited, I've been thinking the cinematic is beautiful. Man, I don't know if I'm making movies or music videos. Yeah, the sales can rise, doesn't mean much though when your health declines. See, we've all got something that we trapped inside that we try to suffocate, you know, hoping it dies. Try to hold it underwater, but it always survives. And it comes up out of nowhere like an evil surprise. And it hovers over you to tell you millions of lies. You don't relate to that? Must not be as crazy as I'm. The point I'm making is the mind is a powerful place, and what you feed it can affect you in a powerful way. It's pretty cool, right? Yeah, but it's not always safe. Just hang with me, this'll only take a moment, okay? Just think about it for a second. If you look at your face every day when you get up and think you'll never be great, you'll never be great. Not because you're not, but the hate will always find a way to cut you up and murder your faith. I've been developing, take a look at the benefits. Nothing to meddle with, I can never be delicate. Am I even relevant? That depends how you measure it. Take a measurement to back it up and give me the evidence. Pretty evident, dependable, can never be tentative. I'm a gentleman, depending on if I think you're genuine. Pretty elegant, but not afraid to tell you to get it. Grip proper etiquette, I keep it to myself when I celebrate. It's that time again. Better grab your balloons and invite your friends. Seat belts back on, yeah, strap them in. Look at me, everybody, I'm smiling big. On a road right now that I can't predict. Tell me tone that down, but I can't resist. Y'all know that sound, better raise your fist. The search begins, I'm back, so enjoy the trip.
Red alert, John, shine a light down. If you smell what The Rock is cooking. The Rock says, The Rock says, The Rock says, The Rock.
Understand, they talk to me. You got your rules and your religion, all designed to keep you safe. But when rules start getting broken, you start questioning your faith. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have a voice that has the knowledge and the power to your fate. I hear voices crying, I see heroes dying, I taste blood that's drying, I feel tension rising. I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me, they talk to me.
Hello and welcome to the WWE Wrestling Talk Show with Reese Rock Jones and
Sean Redstone as we bring you our reactions to Fastlane.
Fastlane. I thought it was Pointless Lane.
So, Pointless Lane, otherwise known as Fastlane, took place back on March 21st of 2021 at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida.
The final pay-per-view to come at us from Tropicana Field as the Thunderdome will be moving, starting with the Raw after WrestleMania. Also, the final pay-per-view to air on the current version of the WWE Network in the US, which is in the process of moving over to merge with the Peacock Network.
But whilst the people who are in the UK, the network is unaffected.
So we had 8 matches on this card, a couple of which had some bearings to goings on and matches likely being made official for WrestleMania. Whilst others were almost pointless.
Yes, we start off with a pre-show match for the United States Championship as Matt Riddle, otherwise known as Riddle, defends his championship against the leader of Retribution's Mustafa Ali, who has Mace, Reckoning, Slapjack, and T-Bar in his corner.
Riddle had already defeated Mustafa Ali on the previous week's episode of Monday Night Raw in a championship match, and for several weeks Riddle has been getting Mustafa Ali has been getting frustrated with the members of Retribution.
Isn't that the truth?
So, after a 9-minute match, relatively going back and forth, Riddle performed the Broderick onto Ali from the top rope to get the pinfall and retain the United States Championship. However, that was not the story here.
No, there was a bigger story about to happen after the match.
Because Ali would lose it, yelling at Reckoning and Slapjack, causing both of them to walk out on him. And then Mace and T-Bar would attack Ali and perform a double choke slam. Where have we seen that before?
Yes. Effectively turning Reckoning, Mace, Slapjack, and T-Bar face and breaking up Retribution.
It's about time.
The group that had so much potential is now broken up and done.
The main card opened up with an Elimination Chamber rematch.
Yes. And it was for the women's tag team titles on the main roster. As Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler with Reginald in their corner defend their championships against Bianca Belair and her WrestleMania opponent, the SmackDown Women's Champion, Sasha Banks.
Now, we don't really need to say a lot about this
Nah, not really.
because it was a decent tag team match overall. Both teams going back and forth with control. The end saw a bank statement on Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair trying to prevent Jax from breaking up the submission hold. Only Jax shoved Belair onto Banks, which effectively broke up the submission. Then, with Banks and Belair arguing, as they always do, and with a slight distraction of everyone's favourite Reginald,
But not.
Shayna Baszler would take advantage and roll up Banks to pick up a victory for her team and retain the championship.
After the match, there was a bit of a shouting match between Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, which eventually resulted in Sasha Banks slapping her WrestleMania challenger in the face.
And now they have got 3 weeks. Well, 3 weeks to build to that match.
They have.
Keeping on the theme of championship matches, and one which has grown extremely personal.
Yes.
Big E defends the Intercontinental Championship against the King of Wakanda, Black Panther.
We mean Apollo Crews in a 5-minute matchup.
Yes, the ending to this was a bit.
Was it a bot or was it not?
If it wasn't a bot, it was, I would say, designed to have a rematch at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because the ending saw
Yeah.
the ending we had Big E and
Apollo Crews.
go at each other. Big E, Apollo would attempt a roll-up pin on Big E, but then would counter into his own pinfall attempt, and it looked like for a second that both men's shoulders were down. However, Big E managed to get into a position where his shoulders were not down and was able to pin the and retain the championship. Crews did not take this very well and would attack Big E, stating that it wasn't over, which is probably true and it's probably going to lead to a rematch being announced on tonight's episode of SmackDown.
It's recording now. We were supposed to have a match between Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon at Fastlane, but during a training session, Shane McMahon would, we say this loosely, injure his knee to get out of the match.
Bullshit.
Oh, language. So instead, we had Braun Strowman versus
Well,
Elias.
first of all, it showed us that. Then it showed Elias coming out, introduced by Shane McMahon on crutches.
Yes.
And then Shane McMahon decided that Elias would face Braun Strowman instead. That did not end terribly well for Elias.
With this match being the shortest on the card, around 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
But then, the next night on Raw, Shane McMahon's knee would dramatically heal,
Yes, and try and hit Braun Strowman in the back with a crutch, but Braun Strowman no-sold the crutch shot.
resulting in a challenge being made and accepted for a match at WrestleMania, which is where we knew this ridiculous storyline was heading the instant it started.
Yes. And to make matters worse for Shane McMahon, he said Braun can have any stipulation of match he wants at WrestleMania 37.
Well, we know that's clearly going to involve Shane McMahon jumping off of something.
Again.
Next, we had a match which came out of nowhere, but does have some story behind it.
It does. As he's not the Messiah, he's a very naughty dad. So it takes on Shinsuke Nakamura.
We say this came out of nowhere because there was a confrontation on the SmackDown before Fastlane. However, this does relate to the situation between Seth Rollins and Cesaro, which again is likely going to lead to a WrestleMania match.
Pretty much.
And this is despite having no proper story behind it, was a fairly good match.
Yes, and the match length in question was around 12 minutes and 55 seconds.
But as we stated last week, we all said that despite Nakamura being a good guy and a good wrestler, that Rollins was going to win this match, which he did with a kick and curb stop.
Yes.
Now, also in this, in between some of this action, we should mention we had some 24/7 championship action.
Yes. So somebody was selling some Old Spice. Obviously, Fastlane was sponsored by Old Spice. So some guy was advertising Old Spice, and he was giving samples to Drew Gulak and Akira Tozawa. Drew Gulak got given the Old Spice. Akira Tozawa was going to get the Old Spice until R-Truth extended his hand out of the shell, forced to go flying. R-Truth was then knocked down, allowing the Old Spice person to cover R-Truth for the 1-2-3. He would win the 24/7 championship, and then out of nowhere, R-Truth was rolling back up again for the 1-2-3 to become I can't believe I'm going to say this, a 51-time 24/7 champion.
Now, it is worth noting that the Old Spice guy was portrayed by a NXT and Performance Center trainee.
Okay.
So it wasn't just some random celebrity. Bad Bunny.
Yeah. So we go on to a match that has a long friendship going down the drain.
Yes. in 3 weeks, to be precise, actually, in 15 days, on night 1 of WrestleMania, which we'll explain more at the end of this,
Yes.
Drew McIntyre has a date with Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. But before then, had a little bit of issues to deal with when he had a no-holds-barred match with longtime friend, the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus.
And in a no holds barred match, and they stayed for about 19 minutes, all down to the Thunderdome. Even at one point, Sheamus was thrown into and through some TV screens in the Thunderdome.
Well, they needed to dismantle that place anyway in a couple of weeks. We had a Future Shock DDT performed onto a television monitor, followed by a Claymore for Drew McIntyre to win this match, which was the right move because McIntyre should not lose, if he does lose, until WrestleMania. Things would get a
Yeah.
little bit more heated on Raw after Fastlane, in which Sheamus would take on Bobby Lashley, and there would be a lot of interference from the rest of the Hurt Business, which would then cause Drew McIntyre to come out at the end to make the save, kind of, causing Drew McIntyre to have a 2-on-1 handicap match with Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, in which if he won, they would be banned from ringside for the WWE Championship match, which they now
And
are.
Drew McIntyre ended up picking up the victory.
Only for a very annoyed Bobby Lashley to essentially put a bounty on Drew McIntyre.
Saying that anyone who takes out Drew McIntyre for WrestleMania will get a shot at the championship.
Right, now I cannot believe I'm about to say this.
Yeah, how can we tell you about this then?
Ever since TLC, Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton have been going back and forth with segments of voodoo and supernatural powers. And then Alexa Bliss seems to think it's a wonderful idea to challenge Randy Orton to a match, despite the fact that Randy Orton has a history of attacking and RKOing women.
Yes.
So Randy Orton makes his entrance, and whilst he's on the turnbuckle doing his signature pose, he gets this black liquid coming out of his mouth again.
And how many times have we seen that happen?
Then Alexa Bliss comes out,
Twisted theme music.
and then the match starts. So the match starts. Alexa Bliss basically shoots a fireball at Randy Orton. And when we get out of the ring, there has been no physicality with anyone so far. And the lighting seems to fall from the top of the Thunderdome, almost killing Randy Orton.
Alexa would continue to torment Randy Orton throughout the rest of this match.
She would attempt another fireball, which it looked like Orton managed to dodge this one. And then she would taunt him while sitting on the turnbuckle. Now, with Randy Orton distracted looking at Alexa Bliss, in very Undertaker Kane style, the Fiend comes through the ring with a slightly different appearance.
Yes, after being barbecued back at TLC.
It's almost, how would I say this? It's almost a mixture of the original look of Kane and Mankind.
Yes.
So then Orton gets pushed into him. The Fiend hits Orton with his sister Abigail, and Alexa Bliss pins Randy Orton. Now, how that doesn't count as a disqualification win for Randy Orton, I don't know.
I don't know either. And our final match is for the WWE Championship at
What do you mean? WWE Championship.
Of course, yes.
It's for the Universal Championship.
Of course, yes.
With Roman Reigns, the head of the table, and the WWE's jackass at the moment, taking on Daniel Bryan, with a very interested outcome of someone who had a very invested interest in this match, the winner of the Men's Royal Rumble match, and the person who would face the winner of this match at WrestleMania, Edge, being the special guest enforcer.
And this match was the longest match on the card, with it being 30 minutes in length.
Now, what do we say here? The second that we find out that there was going to be a special guest enforcer in this match, we knew that the referee was going to take a bump.
And that is exactly what happened.
Yes, Daniel Bryan accidentally taken out the referee,
With a running knee.
which allowed Roman Reigns to perform a spear onto Daniel Bryan, which then resulted with Edge jumping into the ring and taking over the officiating for a period. Daniel Bryan would apply the yes lock onto Reigns. Oh, but then Roman Reigns' little goon, as he's been referred to now, Jey Uso would come out to the then and do a super kick onto Edge and Daniel Bryan and get a chair. He would attempt to attack Daniel Bryan with the chair, only for Bryan to counter and hit Jey with a chair.
And then Daniel Bryan would lock in the label lock again, or the yes lock again. And after what felt 5 or 10 minutes, Roman Reigns actually tapped out.
Well,
but
before we get to that, Roman Reigns would duck a chair shot, which meant that Bryan would accidentally hit Edge instead. And that would lead into the yes lock, which we saw Roman Reigns tap out, but no official there. And then Edge, well, in a heelish move, or whether they're just playing on the fact that he thought Bryan hit them deliberately, would take the chair, attack both Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns before going backstage. The second referee would come down, and for the first time since Payback, I think, when he actually won the championship, Roman Reigns actually wins a match by pinfall. Which means that he will walk into WrestleMania as Universal Champion. However, at the moment, there is debate as to whether there will be a change made to the Universal Championship match at WrestleMania. Because there is rumors going around that due to the finish of the Universal Championship match, Daniel Bryan will be added to this match to make it a triple threat match. Now, what happened last time, Daniel? What happened last time Daniel Bryan was in a triple threat world championship match at WrestleMania?
He won. He won the WWE World Championship at the time.
So that wraps up Fastlane. The reason we state that it is pointless is a vast majority of this stuff, I would say mostly every match, could have easily been done on an episode of Raw or SmackDown. But
let's run you through the match card results one time.
yeah, on the pre-show, Riddle defeated Mustafa Ali to retain the United States Championship.
Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defeated Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, and SmackDown Women's Champion to retain the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship.
Big E defeated Apollo Crews to retain the Intercontinental Championship.
Braun Strowman squashed Elias.
Seth Rollins defeated Shinsuke Nakamura.
Drew McIntyre defeated Sheamus in a no-holds-barred match.
Alexa Bliss essentially squashed Randy Orton.
In an intergender match, and Roman Reigns retained his Universal Championship against Daniel Bryan.
So that was Fastlane. Now, as we head into the final stages, heading into WrestleMania, we have a few schedule in notes we would like to say. Next week we have 2 shows coming at you with NXT TakeOver. Yes, there will be an NXT TakeOver this time at WrestleMania weekend coming, and it will be a 2-night takeover on April 7th and 8th. So that card will come at you next week, along with the 2021 Hall of Fame, which will feature the class of 2020 and the class of 2021.
So it's going to be a very busy few weeks for us.
Then after that, on Friday the 9th of April, we shall bring you our reactions to TakeOver Stand and Deliver. And then on Saturday the 10th, we will do the WrestleMania card not for nights 1 and 2. So, until next week, he's been
Johnny Smith, and he's been.
Chris Rock Jones.
And we will see you next week for another edition of the WWE Wrestling Talk Show.